So I do it one more time. Okay. You know, the reason I think a homeless shelter would do a television program or a radio program, people love stories. Storytellers generationally go all the way back. Whether it's sitting around a campfire years ago, people love stories. And that's the story of the mission. It's the stories of changed lives. When you see somebody walk through these doors, and for whatever reason, but their life has been ruined, say it's by alcohol or drugs, and to see them transformed. Maybe 6 months later, see a mother visit them that was estranged, or children that haven't seen a parent in years. These are moments that, I mean, they bring tears to your eyes, and those are the stories we want to tell, the story of what God can do through a life of a man or a woman. And radio is a great vehicle, and so is television. But the stories are happening right here at Pacific Garden Mission. Well, we started doing this television 10 years ago, and there was a friend of mine, a guy by the name of Jeff DeVries, who would come down, and I've known him for years. He used to come down to the old mission. He'd come down with a bluegrass band, and they would sing, and wonderful testimony and singers. And I think when he was working at TLN, and he saw what we were doing here, and he thought this might be an opportunity to get you guys on the air, and this opportunity for ministry. So really it was Jeff DeVries' vision for Pacific Garden Mission, which really is neat. It's not anything that we ever asked for, sought, desired. It just grew organically.
Well, I remember it was May 17, 2014. I remember this because I have video of that particular night. We were here at Pacific Garden Mission for the Praise and Testimony service with my Bluegrass Gospel Band, just over yonder, and we've come about 3-4 times every year for decades, probably since about 1988 or so. And this was not unlike any other night, but somehow the preaching hit me a little harder than usual. I've always had great experiences coming to PGM, love the preaching, love the atmosphere on a Saturday night. It's a great place to come. And I said to Phil afterwards, man, we got to get you on TV. You're great. You know, I just love hearing your, you know, when he speaks, it feels like the truth. And so he's like, hi, yeah. And, but I was serious, and I went back to my bosses and just ran the idea up the flagpole and see what they said. And they gave me the green light to see what we can do.
Well, the apprehension was, you don't know what you don't know. And we had no idea what we were facing or how to do it. You know, well, we can't do this. It's overwhelming, maybe is the word.
And so I spent about 4 months to create a pilot, to do training, to assess what equipment we might need, and to get us on the air. And it's been fantastic. I haven't been a part of the picture for all 10 years. I just started it, pushed it down the slide, and disappeared for 8, and then they brought me back into the fold about 2 years ago.
Other guys that were, you know, very important to the beginning were Stephen Welch, Phil Massey, Daniel Woolman. They all came through the doors of Pacific Garden Mission at one point homeless. And so what was really neat about those gentlemen is they had a burden for this program because it meant something to them. They use these facilities. I've been here a long time. I was never homeless. I never came here to spend the night in the dormitories. They have.
I joined the Bible program here about 10 years ago, and I was dealing with homelessness, depression, and drug addiction. And I'd been struggling with the opiate addiction, mainly heroin, for I'd say 12 years, and I just couldn't stop. So when I came here in 2014, I just knew that coming here was kind of the only thing that probably worked for me. I'd say my 2 favorite things about working on the show is editing and recording testimonies and just hearing people's stories, because each one kind of reminds me of myself in some way, you know, some more than others, but it kind of reminds me of where I came from and how God's worked in my life.
When you hear these men and women, these are not actors. They're raw.
So when you actually hear somebody's story come out, and it's just complete honesty, and it really makes you look at that person differently and almost feel like you have a connection with them after hearing their story.
It's an honor to be here working on this program. It's humbling to hear their stories.
And I think when you watch this Pacific Art and Mission television, struggles are real, questions are okay, but God is able. And I want them to walk away with, I may have struggled, I may have had questions, but there is hope for me that I still can change. And to me, that is the main message, a message of hope and transformation.